Okay. So today we're talking about content and channels and why it is important. We have built a foundation where we've said we must understand that marketing is a leadership function. We must understand that we cannot market if we don't know our clients. We have sat down and we have analyzed who our clients are, and we'll continue to go forward. And finally, now we've been in the season of tactics. So we've talked about branding and messaging last week. And then this week we'll talk about content and channels. And I think it'll be a really cool conversation. This is the side of marketing I love because we tie it a lot into digital marketing. We've done all the other foundational issues. So by the end of this session, what will happen? You'll have a common profile. You'll have a profile of the common social platforms. You will be able to see tactics on how to craft clear and impactful messaging. You will understand how to determine which content resonates, and we will talk about consistency around batch creation and a few other strategies. So what we want to do is help you be able to be robust. At the end of the month, we have what we call the Traction Lab, which is an opportunity for each of us to sit down with what we have learned over the last 2 months actually, and turn it into an action plan. So in this community, we like to do that, but more about that towards the end. So here's today's starting reflection. Think about 3 posts you shared for your business or yourself. Remember, in this space, we're building both our businesses and our personal brands. Which one performed the most and why do you think that is? Think about 3 posts. In this space, you need a pen, a paper, a tablet, a laptop, whatever it is. You need a device, a gadget, a way to write. And so think about 3 posts you've shared and which one performed the best. Process, time to process, time to process. As you're processing, I'll tell you about mine. I'm very active on TikTok these days, very strategically. It's a lot of fun also. I find TikTok an amazing place to also edit and do a lot of interesting things with your content. So I'm on TikTok. And one of the things I was able to do is a couple of weeks ago, off one of the lives I did on, I think, a Friday afternoon. Yes, it was a Friday live. We popped off a clip of about 37 seconds and posted. Like any other Friday, I was sitting with my niece, I posted, and we went about doing our business. We posted it at 6 p.m. By the time I came back to look at that post at 9 p.m., we had 7,500 views. Currently, it stands at about 79,000. Initially, I could not figure why it went like that. But as I've sat and I've assessed it, what I found is it was a rant. It sounded like a rant, but it was really the challenge for each of us to stand up, take our place, set ourselves up in rooms where we are not the most knowledgeable so that we can push growth. But what I found even more profound is the continuing conversations that go on that same particular post. We are now almost 14 days later. And it's interesting to watch people come back. People have mini arguments on the thread. And I think the thing that really made it stand out was the fact that it was at the appointed time. It was at the time where people were really grappling with the same issue. Because the most common comment on that particular post is thank you. I needed this. I was wondering. This makes so much sense. So, how do I do this? So, where do I go with it? And that's what we are trying to do with all our content. But there was a sign about maybe 7 days before that. There was another post that I did all around the same topic because my TikTok is all about leadership, our faith, and our businesses. And there was a sign that something was shifting because that one hit 2,000, like 500 or something like that. So when you look at your audience, you are able to check, and I'm waiting for somebody to let us know which of their 3 posts, what made it perform well. We're able to watch our audience responses and begin to see where we're going and what will work. So if you don't have any direct reflections right now, just jot that question somewhere and go back, look at all your feeds across all your platforms. It could be a WhatsApp post, it could be on any of the other platforms, and we'll be looking at platforms today. All right. So to recap what we said last week, clarity creates connection, confusion kills opportunity. We need clear value statements because they are the anchors to our messages. Our customer always has to be the hero of the story. We are the guides, and consistency across platforms builds trust. That is why today's conversation is all about two things: platforms and consistency. If you've been around me for long enough, you know consistency is the one of my second nature words: community and consistency. All right, so let's jump into it. So we will look at quite a few platforms. We're going to do a couple directions of that, and then we'll speak to who the platform reaches the most, some kinds of content, and if we come across or talk about a platform you love, let's just put a fire emoji either in the chat or in the comment section. Then we will kind of know where we all are. So the age-old platform, which has been here for the longest, is Facebook. Core users 25 to about 45. It's going a lot higher these days. It's really community driven and it can drive numbers to you. Very often we do longer posts in terms of captions on our posts. The beauty of it, you can do groups, you can do lives, you can do albums, you can now do reels on Facebook. And the ideal frequency is 3 to 5 posts a week. It is across different formats. So you see, you can do a live, which is a post. You can do a reel, that's another post. You can do a text post. You can do an image. You can even set up events on FB so that then you remind your audience. But this is an older audience, more settled audience. The younger ones kind of call this thing the place for the old people. Sometimes I'm cheeky. I force my young ones to come to this place because there are some posts that really resonate that they would gain from. So I keep sharing Facebook links and they get really annoyed with me. But this is very good for building broad communities. And the beauty about Facebook, is part of the Meta suite and it is connected to a few other platforms. So now in Facebook, you have the option of a profile, which is what you're used to, or a page. A page is more like a business platform. It gives you such good analytics. On a profile, you can just tell how many people liked. On a page, it will give you analytics like the gender of who looked at your content, the age distribution. It gives you disaggregated data in terms of age. So it will give you 18 to 26, like that, through to over 68. Okay. It will give you you have possibilities to set up fantastic ads that you can collect data and information on. You can do signups on it. You can also do closed groups. So you can create a group and people have to apply to get in, and you can focus attention. So you have the option of a page and a profile. And I think when you're doing business, go for a page, because when you're doing business, you want to be able, you want to be able to track your numbers. You want to know which posts are driving the greatest traction, which posts are giving you the greatest visibility. And the other beautiful thing about the page, you can actually schedule it a lot better. It's more robust. I find it more robust. But this is when you're looking at the older demographic. I am not saying that the older demographic are not on all platforms, but by and large, this is where many of them are most comfortable because this is where they started, and many of the older generation are not as eager to try new platforms. So it belongs to a suit. So it belongs to Meta. So Meta owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. And those three are very easy to integrate. The beauty about Facebook and Instagram, you can integrate them in such a way if your Instagram is a professional Instagram. So just like Facebook, Instagram, you can do professional or just personal. You can have it private. If it's personal, you can hide it. But what's the point of having it there if you're going to hide it? We are brand building for our businesses, so we need to be visible. If you have the professional one, you can link it with your Facebook so that you post on one platform and it goes across all. The other thing I love, love, love about these two brands is you can, when you do an ad on one, it advertises on the other. So they're cross-linked. And we'll be doing a session on advertising later in the month when we do our paid event. All right. So the contents that do the best content types that do the best on Instagram, we have Reels, which is anything from 10 seconds to I think the maximum is 10 minutes. And then we've got carousels. So a carousel is a collection of photos that people swipe through. Usually it is swipe left. Okay. So reels, carousels, we use stories. Facebook also has stories, by the way. And it's a lot more aspirational. It's visual. It's a lot of lifestyle brands and a lot of shops. So you can actually have a really robust shop on Instagram. I know that I used to buy shoes from. I haven't bought shoes from them in a while, but I met them on Instagram. Did all my shopping on Instagram and WhatsApp. It was so much fun. I don't know what they look like. I've never been to their shop. The only person from the organization I've met is their rider. When I say send me 2 sets of those shoes so that I can try, and then he comes back based on the fit. So the ideal frequency is daily stories and 3 to 4 grid posts. So a grid, when it posts into like a grid, and many of us know what Instagram looks like. It's the same layout as we have on TikTok. So it's a grid. Facebook scrolls like a page, all right? And this is really good for aspirational content. It's good for brand building. It's good for lifestyle storytelling, but you can customize it across any format. It is recently growing a lot in faceless platforms, faceless videos, faceless posts. So for those of us who are like, oh, I don't like showing my face, it's okay. You can build a faceless account. But what you do is you push the content of your business. So I know businesses who purely push product benefits, events, what are they called? Testimonials from customers and all that kind. And it's really robust. It's easy to use. You can schedule on it. You can also schedule on FB, and it makes life interesting. All right. Then we have TikTok, one of my favorites. I think it's currently my top after LinkedIn. It's my favorite social after the professionals. And this is a very interesting platform. When TikTok started, it was a lot more around dance videos and fun. And I must admit, I was like, I ain't going there. Never. You will never find me there. But here I am. I'm there. It started with a lot of the younger ones, but it has expanded. In fact, this says up the core users are 16 to 35, but it has a lot of older users. It's trendy. It has a lot of apps that make it really even more trendy, a lot of filters. I love, love, love it because of the filters. If you go to my TikTok, I love the black and white look. So my whole thing is black and white. I just apply filters. I love it. And it's really beginning to have some fantastic shopping capabilities. You can do a live. Sometimes you go on and there are people doing lives, they're selling clothes. You have your mannequin, and somebody says, I want chiffon top size 12. And they'll go through their piles, they'll put them on, you select the one you want, you have payment details, you pay, it gets delivered to you. So some of its best content features is live selling, live sessions, tutorials, storytelling, challenges. All they work very well. And there was a point where only short form videos were hitting, but now you need to do the mix between between carousels. There's a new feature that uses text post, which is interesting. So you plug in your text and then it gives you backgrounds and you select and you post. Excellent use. You use it on your stories. So you can do stories, you can do videos, you can do photo posts like carousels, you can do lives. There's a lot you can do on it. If you're outside Africa, it's possible to monetize it. It's very difficult to monetize TikTok on the African continent. And it's just how it's wired. But you can really build a brand there. And you can build it and direct people to different places. In your bio, you can put a link tree. A link tree is really a site that allows you to have multiple links on one major link, and then you're able to send it out so people have greater reach of how to find you. It's really good for trends, authenticity, and social commerce. It does such amazing stuff. The lives, TikTok lives are just amazing. Okay, so ideal frequency, 1 to 2 posts daily and lives weekly. And you actually have to earn the right to be able to have a live. Many other platforms, you're able to just go on quite quickly. TikTok, you have to earn the right to go live. And then when you go live, you have timelines. So they'd say, oh, you can go live in the next 7 days. You need to have done 2 lives of 20 minutes each. If you don't reach that target, then you drop back. So it's very competitive. That's why many people struggle with it. All right. We have X. X is where Kenyans we are known for causing mayhem. All right. The user age bracket is 18 to 40. It's real time, it's opinion driven, it's short captions. When it started, it was what? 124 characters. Now it's a little bit longer. And it's the best way to use X is threads. So you start a conversation and you just split it because your text is shortened. Updates, thought leadership, trending news are usually the usual formats. And these days, we've got what we call Twitter Spaces, which is an opportunity to have a live. All platforms now have built in the capacity to do a live. And lives are really exciting because you can engage with people, you can grow, you can have interesting conversations. You hear from people straight back what they're thinking. All right. So it's best for speed, for immediacy, and topical conversations. You can come, boom, 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 high impact, get people to have a conversation. In Kenya, this really worked well during the demonstrations in 2024 because there's no limit to how many people you can have on a live. So there were lives with 120,000 people on them. There were lives that went on for hours. So it's very, very engaging. It's very savvy. It is also what used to be called Twitter, for those who are wondering what X means. We have LinkedIn. So this is the professional site. It is put together. It is it's semi-formal. But it's where ages 25 to about 50 professionals. There's the B2C, which is business to customer side of it, but it's really, really good for B2B. You're a business looking for other businesses to collaborate with, or you're a business leader looking to expand your reach and build thought leadership. LinkedIn is the place to go. Why? You can put up articles, you can have newsletters, you can do carousels, short videos. It gives access to very good polls and it allows you to find and get to know professionals in their work mindset, So it's really, really good. It says 3 to 5 posts a week. But here, when we look at the post frequency, some of us will be like, oh my God, I don't have the bandwidth. I always say start with what you can manage, all right? And then you grow. So when you think about marketing is just like everything else you do. It's a muscle that grows as you go along. It's really good for authority, creating your own authority, professional growth, and B2B networking. There are opportunities I have got by simply being consistent on LinkedIn. I've been able to pitch for jobs together, and it has been very interesting. So the next one is YouTube. Now, YouTube, I call it University of YouTube. If you're trying to learn anything and you say you don't have money, go to YouTube. There's somebody who specialized in it. So it has a broader range. Technically, they say 18 to 45. It is probably a lot broader, but this is the core user base, all right? Really, really cool for learning, for research, for global information. I love it for news. I find myself very often listening to finance daily documentaries, DWTV, Bloomberg, their documentaries, not news. I think I just like to flip through the news, not to spend a lot of time in it. You can learn about a lot of things. Like I like to see, like, let's say something breaks in Kenya or a new product lands here. I like to go and see who else has used it, what side effects are, and you'll find stories of that online. You will also find a lot of people doing tutorials that are useful. A lot of the SME people I follow, they have weekly events that I may not be able to join, but they have put them on YouTube. You can do live streams, you can do interviews, explainers. It's really the place there a lot of unpacking happens. Now, YouTube in the last 2 years added what they call shorts, which is short clips. So you can do extended clips. But again, because most of us have short attention spans, you have the 10-second to 3-minute clips, and then you can do the longer ones. So what do we ordinarily do? You've got the longer one, but you pull out clips of it and put it there. Nollywood uses YouTube phenomenally. There was one of the a movie I was looking at yesterday. It dropped 3 days ago and it already had over 1 million views. So Nollywood does it very well. They do a short, they take it, put on Facebook, they put it on YouTube itself, and that's how they gain their traction. It's really it's really ideal when you're doing consistent stuff. All right. It is the best for long form learning. So you have some people who do complete courses. I found online something I was trying to understand about AI, and this particular content creator had done 6 episodes of it, and each episode was about 35 minutes. So then you could go and learn a complete topic just by just being there. Yes, the Nigerian film industry is booming because they've learned how to capitalize on YouTube. I mean, they do such amazing stuff. And then every major actor has their own channel. So we are 5 of us in this movie, and each of us puts a movie on our channel. I mean, it just gives them massive reach. So I like it because it's a searchable library. You go to the search bar, you put in what you want, it will find it for you. You can find pretty much anything. You can find 6 hours of certain kinds of music, study music, worship music, R&B, African music. So when I do events, sometimes I like to go and look for um, music that has no royalty, that's African, that is, I give it my specifications, African jazz, African this, and it usually brings me what I want. Excuse me. So YouTube is another really amazing channel. And then we have WhatsApp, and I look at WhatsApp in three simple ways. One, it's personal, which is what we normally have. You can do a wide range of things. Usually we have access to broadcast lists, we have groups, we can do voice notes. We now have WhatsApp channels, which I will handle a bit separately. We have our statuses. Oh my goodness, I learned so much about people from their statuses. I learned about events from their statuses. I know people who've monetized their status because the viewership on their status is so high that usually, and also because they only post legit stuff. Very often they put stuff I'm interested in. I know it's legit. I'll click, I'll even pay for it and I'll go. So WhatsApp works really well because you can do, they're also kind of limiting broadcast lists a bit. Or if you send too many personal messages these days, then there's a check on your account. Because what they're trying to do now is avoid spam. So we all know that WhatsApp Personal is what most of us have on our phones, and it works pretty good for personal conversations, groups, broadcast lists, and all that. But that's WhatsApp Business. And I like WhatsApp Business because on WhatsApp Business, you can create a catalog. You can also connect it to a bot that will answer basic questions. I'll give an example. I like Moko Market mattresses, and I've never really had to worry because every time I think about Moko, it is usually at night. So I will chat with the chatbot until where it can reach, and then it will say, we'll refer you to um, an agent when the office opens. But by then, I know what sizes of mattresses are available, what is the price per mattress. You have price list, you have everything you need. You can ask for furniture. So you have a back and forth with the chatbot. Why is that important? For a business, it allows you to continue to provide the information your customer needs, right? Even as you're sitting in your bed, you're sleeping in your bed. So the frequency on WhatsApp Business is usually driven by how often the customer is talking. The other beautiful thing about WhatsApp Business in the Meta Suite, you can connect it to Instagram, you can connect it to Facebook, so that when somebody comes to your page, they click the WhatsApp button and you are instantly having a conversation with them wherever you are. So it gives you professional credibility and it helps you streamline customer service. All right. And WhatsApp channels. And really, there are those of us who want to interact and share our information with people without people necessarily saying our phone numbers. I mean, in a community that meets every morning for prayer, and we did a channel because many people are concerned about their personal phone numbers and details being out there. So you know if you miss the broadcast in the morning, if you need the session in the morning, you just go to the channel, there'll be the link, there'll be the core teaching, the core prayer points, and you can continue or you can share with other people. Channels are useful. You just have to be very active about promoting them like all of our other marketing platforms and content platforms. But the WhatsApp channel is really good for announcements, updates, inspirations, and sending people to places. So if you are the ones who always have posts and you have many, many events, and so you post about every event, it's a good place to put a short caption and a link to where you want people to go. And then you get your audience used to that. So ideally 3 to 5 posts a week. And it's really good for broad communities and building thought leadership of our broad base. However, one check about our WhatsApp channel, it is often difficult to find when you're under 3,000 followers. So what you want to do is post enough and share enough and build it. And then as people begin sharing it and joining it, then your visibility rises. But that is true of all platforms. If you get onto a platform today and you start just posting and then you tell people, like my channel, and you've got one post, I tell people, whatever platform you get into, please don't invite people to follow you before you have a minimum of 5. I prefer 8 to 12 posts. Why? So that they have more than one thing to look at when you come. And that's important for all of us to understand. Before you start telling people, follow me, please have something for them to look at. So across the platforms, there are multiple elements we can do. We can do reels. Most platform a reel is anything from, in fact, on some seconds you can do from, let's say 5 seconds to 10 minutes, depending on the platform. Some platforms, I think LinkedIn allows you to put up a video that's a maximum of 15 minutes long. Okay. Average watch time is 15 seconds. So your punchline must be in your first 15 seconds. In fact, your first 5 seconds. In those first 5 seconds, you have your hook that draws people in, that they watch the next 10. All right. You will always have a certain percentage of people, depending on your audience, who watch all the way through. And what your intention should be is over time to have more people watch through. What platforms are beginning to do, and I know TikTok does this very, very well, it begins to take you seriously when you watch through videos instead of just scrolling. Now, the other thing about these platforms is what you stop at in your scroll is what you will see more of. So let's say my work, when I'm scrolling, I always stop at the dresses that are for sale. I will suddenly see on my feed more dresses. If the place I like to stop a lot is Maron Golden, I will see more of Maron Golden. If the place I stop a lot is Rock Ministries, I will see more of Rock. If it's comedy, if it's dancing, if it is crime and investigation, if it is stories, that's what you see more. So that is why we say, know your customer, because whatever you're putting out needs to be something that will stop them in their tracks. All right. So now, when you think about yourself, and let me see in the comment section, which of the platforms that we've discussed so far is your customer's preferred platform? Not yours. Which is your customer's preferred platform? We've talked about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, WhatsApp in multiple formats. There's something X. Which of the platforms that we've discussed, and you can also have another like others we've not discussed, which is your customer's most important platform? We still have other platforms like Pinterest, which you can do leaderboards, you can do design boards, you can use it as a place to draw people in. I'm seeing a lot of LinkedIn and WhatsApp and Instagram, currently WhatsApp. Excellent. I was going to say we have Pinterest, which is also another social platform. If you're going to China, you will be using WeChat, which is their equivalent of WhatsApp. They have a closed system, so WhatsApp doesn't work in China. We also have a couple others. We've got Reddit, we've got Vimeo, but they're not as active. I can see what's up. Thank you, Irene. Okay. So customer is most active on that platform. That is the platform you go, you build your foundation, you understand it perfectly well, and then you harness it. Because we go where our customers are. Remember, one of the 4 P's of marketing is place, which is not just where they'll find you, but in the digital age where you will find your customers. All right. So, how do you craft your message so that it is engaging? This one think I've said a couple of times before. WhatsApp and FB, excellent. So I've said it a couple of times before, so I won't spend a lot of time on it, but you must know your customer. Who are they? What do they care about? What is that pain that they need answered that you are the painkiller for? Okay. So you must know your audience intimately, like we used to say, like the back of your hand. All right. You must know them so well. You know, ladies, the way you can put on your lip gloss without smudging, that's how you have to know your customers. The way you know the shape of your lips, the way you know how to oil your hand without even looking. Okay. And then you clarify very often around one core point, one message per piece of content. So in one piece of content, you're not telling them, go here or go there. You're telling them, this is the one thing I need you to do. Click on this link and join us. Click on this link and sign up. Tell them 3 or 4 things to do. Just one thing, one core message per post. When you're evaluating them, use the so what test. Why does this matter? I buy this drink because it makes me feel happy. So what? Or so that, so that I can feel refreshed. And you keep asking and asking. And when you use that test on your customers, what you're doing is you are refining around their pain point and you're refining around making the solution you provide the thing they need. Remember, they are the hero, we are the guide. They will say, oh, I don't even understand how to do math. I'm your math teacher. I will help you get A's in your exams. All right. So we know our customers, we clarify 1 point per message, and then we structure for impact. We always have to start with a hook. Remember, I said, like, especially on the reels, the first 5 seconds are the determinants of whether people stay or not. So sometimes you find there's a really captivating statement in the first 5 seconds, and then they say, let me tell you more. And they go into the long story. Then you find that same statement somewhere near the end. That was the hook. And then the story they told you was the value, and then it led you to an action. So I know in many posts you've seen this one thing that grabs your attention, and you sit there, and then you often have things like, if you want to hear more, and they give a specific one in the comment section, and I will send you this. Or go to the bio, click the link that says da 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 da, and you will receive this. So you always need a hook to catch attention, you deliver value, and you send people somewhere. You're not bringing them to your page just to. If you want them to follow for more, you tell them follow for more. If you want them to sign up for something, they sign up for something. But think about your message as water and your channel as the container, right? Your message is the thing you need to deliver to your people, and the channel is how you deliver it to them. Then that will help you understand the real value of what you're doing. So you know your customer, you speak one core message, you structure for impact, and you match the channel. So let's say your audience likes dance challenges, interesting moves, then you need to join that. If your audience is like mine who like thought-provoking conversations, join me every Tuesday and Friday and we'll do the thought-provoking conversations. But then there will also be an adjustment in tone based on what we're talking about. Sometimes you find my posts, I'm very calm. And the others that I am so loud. And it just depends on what we're trying to put across. So, quick question. This is a reflection question. If your audience only remembers one sentence from your next post, what should that be? And why we ask these questions is to clarify. Remember we said one area per post. So what is it you want them to remember? What one sentence do you want them to commit to memory? So at the beginning, if you're starting out on this marketing journey and you're starting out on using social media effectively as opposed to just posting pictures of yourself, it may feel a little bit like rocket science, but it isn't. What is happening is there is a way your mind has been functioning that you now need to rewire. So it is that rewiring process that makes it difficult. If you're having a hard time figuring out your content, do not stop. Look for help. You could reach out to me and we'll have a quick conversation and give some guidelines, some pointers, and you can proceed. Because when you stop, your mind now accepts quitting as okay, and quitting becomes a habit. Many of us say, it's too much work. I don't know what to say. And remember, we said in a previous episode that even as you're going to have people market for you because you need help in marketing, you need to be the one to define your customer for them so well. And you will also be the one who has the data about what has worked before. That's why marketing is a leadership function. Because as a leadership, you've had the bird's eye view of who your customer is. You have disaggregated the data. You've broken down your data. You understand gender. You understand age. You understand what they've been responding to. And then now you build the campaign that will increase the response, engagement, connection, and will lead you to conversion. All right. If you're with me, let me see a YY in the comment section, in the chat. I do not want to leave anybody behind. If we are together, let me see some responses. Excellent. So good to see you, Nancy. It's been a bit. All right. So let's keep going. So how you find content that resonates? You listen fast. Remember a few weeks ago, we talked about asking our client questions. Thank you, Irene. I see you. We talked about knowing our customers, asking them questions, coming up with a minimum viable product, sending it back to them. They say, yeah, no, they tell you, excellent. This point is working. That is what we mean by listen fast. Ask questions. If you're already posting online, go and look at the comments. I'll go back to the post I had that I mentioned that went viral. When I went back to the comments, it has helped me understand what my audience is looking for deeper. I already knew some of those things. It's helped me recraft them. Look at what they send you in your DMs. If sometimes the things people send in DMs are just insane, but the insane ones, put them aside. Look at the serious ones, right? Look for frequently asked questions and address those things. And then look at their responses. In responses, you will find maybe so many liked, so many loved, so many found it insightful. So it depends on your platforms. Those are the ones on LinkedIn. On Facebook, there's that one of care, there's the one of tears, there's wow. So you go and look at which of the responses are the most, and that will also tell you what they resonate with. So that's listening. And then you check insights. You look at the shares, you look at the saves, you look at watch time. I love TikTok because TikTok gives you these in really good detail. It gives you how many people have seen it, so it gives you your views. It gives you how many have commented, how many have favorited it, how many have liked it, and then it tells you what your average watch time is, what percentage of people watched all the way through. It gives you the total watch time of that particular post, and then it gives you the number of new followers per post. That's why if you're on these platforms, you need to have the site that has analytics. So on Instagram, do an Instagram professional page. On Facebook, do a professional page because you'll also be able to get the same stuff. On LinkedIn, if you have your company page, you can also get the same level of detail of analytics on your company page. So we listen fast and then we check insights and then we test and compare formats. Remember, we said there are very many formats you can use. There are reels, there are long form videos, there are posts, there are carousels, there are articles, depending on the platform. Look and see which of those formats works best. Which of those formats do people engage with the most and give them more of that. I'll use an example. I once upon a time had a student in one of my classes, and her audience said to her, we want more, and they wanted more videos. They wanted 3-minute YouTube videos. She doesn't like the camera. So because she wouldn't do that, her growth has been much, much slower. All right. So understand your customer dictates your content. And then when you've tested and compared formats, engage directly. So put up a poll, ask questions. One of the things I learned from a creator I follow, he's been creating content for 19 years, and to date, he responds to every comment on his post. Sometimes the comments are up to 1,500. It will take him a while because he works with his team, but they will respond to every single comment. And he said for him, that has driven connection and community. So I began following him about 5 years ago, and I do the same thing. And it's very interesting because you have a post with 150 comments. You are going to go and make 150 different useful comments. So it takes brain power. But what I found is, and this was very interesting, the last couple of weeks, as I've responded to every comment, the conversations that are happening there. And then as I'm responding to comments on my feed and I go to people's feeds and I make useful, valuable responses on their feeds, it is driving traffic to my page. All right. So engagement directly is important. And then you use a language that they resonate with. So I find it very interesting when young people come to my posts and they tell me Kizungu mingi. And I I grew up speaking English. English is my first language. For many of us Africans, English is second, third, or fourth. For me, it's first. Why? I come from a cross-national home. The easiest thing was to have English as a core language, and then each of us individually learned the other languages. But the language, my language of first speaking was English. So tell me Kizungu mingi, that's a lot of English. I think in English. So I had a very interesting conversation with a friend of mine who was arguing about Sheng. So Sheng is slang. And he was saying to me that Sheng is based on Kiswahili and local languages. Then I said, for you and where you grew up, our Sheng was the convolution, the messing of English, so that our parents could not understand what we were saying. Because where we grew up, English was our first language. Okay? And he couldn't understand how it could be any Sheng other than the blend of Kiswahili and local languages. I'm like, what is that even? So you need to understand what language your community resonates with, and if you must learn it, you learn it. So I hang out with young people, so I'm learning to speak like them. Like there's a day I was texting when a WhatsApp chat, a group of us, and I said something, and one of my young people came and grabbed my phone, long pressed, went to edit, made it sound more youthful, and said, "This is how you need to text." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll try." So learn to use the language of your audience. That's how you get resonant content. And this is a bonus. So let me give a bonus of consistency hacks. One of the things you can do is batch create. You know how, I don't know if you guys grew up doing this. We grew up batch cooking. So a big pot of maize and beans, githeri. So you knew it was cooked a big pot, and then you cook it over the next few days, or the next few weeks. Some of us would batch cook githeri beans and freeze, so that during the week you're just pulling out a packet from the freezer and you're prepping. So mealtime is faster. That's what batch creating helps you do. You pick a theme or a goal, you brainstorm 10 to 15 ideas, you script, you outline, you shoot, you design. So let's say you say one batch has 3 to 5 videos, 5 carousels, and 10 captions. So you put everything together. Some people will schedule or automate, others will just like to be able to pick and put up themselves every day. Whichever works for you, that's okay. But when you have batch created in advance, you must engage daily. And I tell people engagement is not difficult. It's not rocket science. Go online 20 minutes a day on LinkedIn, 20 minutes a day on whichever platform you're on. What we don't want is you to be there scrolling the whole day. That one we do not approve. No, that one is not approved. But it is important to go onto your critical platforms, look at your posts, what have your customers said, and then go to the posts of other people and engage. All the algorithms give you props for engaging with other people's content. So the algorithms are wired to keep us unselfish. We get more by engaging with others. All right. So one of the ways as a consistency hack is to batch create. The other one is to have a strategy. You can actually use reposting as a strategy. And let me explain. When you put out a post, maybe a max, and this is like pushing it to the max, 30% of your audience see it. So if the reach is limited, which it is, it means that reposting is not repeating, it's reinforcing. So I could have put something up as a post on my page. I can then put it up tomorrow or the day after as a story. All right. And then what it does, it's like, I don't know if you guys used to do this. I would make today we'll eat chapati and beans, the beans remain. Tomorrow I'll have refried beans with rice. Okay. And then, or if you had, let's say I don't know if you guys used to do this, you have a nyam chom, a roast meat for lunch or dinner today, and then whatever is left is not a lot, you re-chop it up, you fry it up and make a wet fry the next day. That's how I look at reposting, because it is serving up something you used in the past in a slightly different way. Okay, so a couple of things you can do for reposting. You change the format, turn a blog into a carousel, or use it as the foundation of a reel, or turn it into a thread, or take the data in that post, turn it into a graphic and post it on a different platform. It is one post that you have repurposed. I try to at the end of this, do a recap. So you'll very often see a recap post with the highlights of every session I teach. Why? Those are the things we want you to remember. So that's one way, change the format. The other one is update the angle. Take the core idea that you shared, but refresh it with a different intro, use updated data, come back and say, remember we did this. Now, this data has found that, and then you finish off the thought process. Why is that important? You have taken the same thing, you've repackaged it, you will have a broader reach, okay? The other thing you can do is change your posting time. If you know that there's a different segment of your audience, so there would be the audience like on LinkedIn, they usually say best time to post for professional posts is probably between 9 a.m. and 11, okay? And then, yes, Irene, I have a YouTube channel. It will be shared just at the end. So you go 9 to 11 on this side. What if you took it and you posted it, you reworked it and posted it at a different time frame? So let's say you do it in the evening. Evening Kenyan time would be mid-afternoon or late morning US time, depending on which coast you are on. All right. So then the different time you post it at, depending on the algorithm, could give you access to a new audience segment. And then seasonal reuse. There are some posts that are evergreen. An evergreen post it is relevant through the seasons. Every year in December, we're planning for the next year. Every year in January, we're like, New Year excitement, we need hype. So are there things you can reuse as evergreen content? Minor adjustments, minor shifts, maybe changed angles, changed timings, and you can effectively use reposting as a strategy. Again, like when you have a long form content, like we have this, it will be an hour, we can go back and clip it into smaller pieces. So you will find a 30-second here, a 2 minutes there, a 1 minute there. That is reposting strategy at its best. And when you look at all major creators, they do that. If for those of you who follow Diary of a CEO, his long form content is a 1 hour, minimum 1 hour, 22 minutes. So it's 82 minutes, his standard content. But what you find once they have put something up, or just before they put up a clip, you have all these 1 minute, 30-second clips showing up all over the place, which gets you interested and takes you to the YouTube channel. That is reposting strategy in implementation. So if you've seen that online, then you will understand what I'm talking about. The final element of how we can be more effective is collaboration. Collaboration multiplies your visibility by tapping into other people's audience. And even if, let's say, Irene and I do a post together, I will get access to maybe about 10 to 30% of her audience, and the same for her, which means both of us broaden our reach. But it is important to collaborate with people and brands with like values. Collaborate like for like. Like values, like audiences, or an audience you've been working to tap into that I have, we can work together. And this is also important if you're going to do influencer marketing. Find the influencer who is valuable to your brand. Please find that influencer. Find somebody who adds value, right? So keywords, you can collaborate, you can cross post. So you do a post about me, I pick it with that, with add my maybe I can do it as a repost. I can cross post as a repost. I do that a lot on LinkedIn. I see a post you have, I repost it to my platform, to my page with my thoughts on it and an appreciation. Thank you, Maggie. It was so good. This resonated because boom, 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 boom. One paragraph, two paragraphs, and we go. You could have joint sessions. So maybe a joint live, a joint webinar. You could have guest content. So somebody writes on your page, like let's say you have a blog and you're tackling a topic, or you want to tackle a topic that you're not tip top on. You can get somebody to write about that topic and you post it, and they become your guest on that post. Testimonials and case studies have, like, if when have your customers go to Google My Business and leave you a review in terms of how your program helped them, how your food was good, how the shop experience was wonderful, and then do challenges or series. One of the ministers I follow on TikTok consistently does had challenges through the year. So there are about 3 or 4 challenges. Some are 7 days, some are 21 day. And what happens in those spaces is you are using a consistent hashtag, you're using a consistent theme, you are working to speak and share a consistent message at scale. Sometimes what you need to share is a lot, it's too much for one sitting. So collaboration then helps you. So what are your content consistency strategies? You batch create, you have a repost strategy, and you collaborate. Now, collaboration helps you because it adds credibility. Because if Wambui works with me and you know Wambui, you will trust Wambui more. It expands your audience beyond your own, and it builds relationship, because we cannot collaborate unless we know, like, and trust each other. All right. So that built relationships can also lead to referrals and partnerships, which is what we're looking for, because it now drives conversion and sales. Remember, we are marketing to sell, or we're marketing to ensure that people pick things off our shelf. Okay? So as we wind this down, as we conclude, we need to remember that every platform has its own personality. So choose wisely. Remember, going to the platform where your customers are. That's how you're also choosing the personality. And when you go there, ensure your messages are clear and you are consistent. So craft with clarity and consistency. And then use listening, testing, and adapting to ensure lasting resonance. You must resonate with your audience. Otherwise, you lose them. And then you be consistent without burnout. Find a way to use collaboration, batching, and reposting as 3 of some of the many strategies. Those are the 3 I like the most, because collaboration expands your reach and enhances your credibility. And sometimes that collaborator will give you the much needed break. so that you come back bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, excited to be doing what you're doing. All right? So alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. I love Helen Keller because all her quotes come from such a deep personal place of struggle. So alone we can only do so little, but together we can do so much. So when you're doing your thinking about your content and your platforms, be sure to go to the place where there is a collection of your tribe. So your tribe are your customers, your tribe are your community, the people who will work alongside you, your tribe are your team members. Your tribe is your customers, your tribe is potential collaborators and partners, and your tribe is your team members. When you have those three things together, it will not be as difficult as you think to create content and to connect to a much wider audience than you have before. Do we have questions? Do we have questions? Please raise your hand if you have a question. Drop it in the comments section. Okay, so it all makes sense, but it's also quite overwhelming. What is overwhelming? Tell me, talk to me about overwhelm. Please feel free to unmute yourself and talk to me about overwhelm.
Even the thought of creating content right there.
Why?
I don't know. I'm wondering. I mean, is it for some people? And then I don't know. Is there someone who can come and just create content for me? Sure.
So,
Hey, 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 Apana, this one, I don't know. I mean, it all makes sense. I'm like, yeah, that would be really good. But anyway, elephants are eaten a bite at a time. But yeah, I just feel like it's just this thing.
so tell me, have you tried and failed before?
Never have I ever.
Okay.
Never
So what
have I ever. I don't know. I don't know how to. Eish.
so let me ask
Okay.
you a question. Do you post on
God
your
is seeing
personal
the people who
platform?
are laughing at me. Huh? Sorry?
Do you post on your personal platform? Mr. Bukoko, I'm coming to you.
Do I post? Yeah, if
You on
something
any
touches
of are you
me,
on a social site? Are you on any social site?
yeah, I have an X page.
Mhm.
Well, account, you can tell how much I use it.
Okay.
Um, I'm on LinkedIn,
Okay. What do you do on
WhatsApp.
LinkedIn?
I occasionally visit to see what's happening generally and to say
Okay.
hi and to clap, celebrate people.
Okay. All right. What do you do on WhatsApp?
I send messages of
Mhm.
necessity
Right
and
there, you create.
YouTube.
Right there, you're creating content.
Oh, what? Like if I just message people?
Yes, that is content creation on a very small scale.
Thank you. So yes, I create content. I even repost
You take
on
you
occasion.
find things and you put them onto your status, right?
Yes, I discovered status the other day, and apparently people check my status. I'm not quite certain why. Maybe because it's such a novelty to find something on my status, but yeah, it even has a conversion rate.
It is content. So what you're doing is,
Mm.
and this is gonna sound really bad, you are projecting a salient fear and you're
Eh?
turning it, that's where the overwhelm is coming from. because you've seen what those who do content creation for a living, how much they do, and you're comparing with that. You start where
Yes.
you are. You start where you are.
Uh-huh.
So if status is all you can manage and you have posters for your business,
Uh-huh.
there are people who do all their marketing on their status.
No way.
Yes. Joe, please tell her about status. You are the king of status in our community.
Hey, Audrey, good evening.
Good evening.
Let's play a game.
Why not?
Good.
I even have age-appropriate humans here to join in the games.
Fantastic. So we're going to go through your day.
Mm-hmm.
How do you serve the world on a normal day?
Oh, I change diapers.
Mm-hmm.
I write opinions.
Mm-hmm. What do you write opinions about?
Legal stuff.
Fantastic. That is content. Uh-huh. Who do you
I
give the
draft
legal opinions to?
to clients
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
and
So
to
you
friends
change
who wants to
diapers?
ask Wakili a small question.
Good. People ask Wakili a small question. You right?
Yes.
So now, what about if you started a frequently asked question segment on your
Uh-huh.
machine and
Uh-huh.
start gathering content?
Tell her content freezes her mind. Tell her, start gathering answers for frequently
Yes,
asked
start
questions.
gathering answers, or we stop using the word content. Good.
Content she freezes.
Good. Audrey, start gathering
Yes.
the answers.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that
Then,
it sounds doable.
good, it's doable, right?
Yes.
Then,
Mm-hmm.
on your WhatsApp status,
Mm-hmm.
now that people view your status,
Mm-hmm.
try this. Did you know? Then remember the question you'd been asked?
Yes.
Put
Uh-huh.
the answer there.
Mm.
And after you
Okay.
put the answer,
Mm-hmm.
put your contact down there and say, if you want further information, get in touch. Or I help people do this. I'll tell you for a fact, people view WhatsApp status. And like what I realized from my status, at times I monetize it. There are people who see things from my status and I don't even know until someone tells me in a month's time, oh, I got 5 clients from your WhatsApp status.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So it works. Now, you've aptly put it. The best way to eat an elephant is a small piece at a time. I'm not telling anyone to kill elephants, eat elephants. We shall all be in trouble. But the best way to tackle this is take one bit at a time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can imagine from when your day started to when it ended, especially in the kind of profession you're in the services sector, you have seen over 10 things happen in the course of the day. Your
Yep.
response to all those things
Mm-hmm.
is information someone needs and someone can pay you for. Let's try that and get back to me. We are happy to help you walk. Thank you.
Goodness, thank you. I feel like I've just had a coaching session. And I think I've just had a coaching session. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Onika, you had asked how do you monetize WhatsApp? That's one way you monetize WhatsApp. You have and you see, content does it. When you hear the word content, most of us think about these content creators with studios. Hey, many of you have seen my online stuff. I use my phone. You start with what you have. If what you have is a Samsung A series, clean that camera properly, find proper lighting, shoot, use what you have, and then grow with it. You started thinking about makeup. If you're not a makeup person, that's okay. But you see, the truth is, sometimes all you need is a nice lip gloss and just do your eyebrows and show up. Because what we are looking for you to do is show up as your true self, not as somebody else. And that's where we all get stuck. Don't try and show up like me. This is my true self with a red lip and my eyebrows drawn in and my glasses. I don't do a filter, but I'm a makeup girl. So during the day, I will have my makeup very simple. But you don't have to look like me. Whatever time I show up online, I will show up with my red lip, right? That's Chesubire. So what Joe has said is so critical. Look at what you're doing through the day, all right? And so when you're doing content, you don't create, you document. Because remember, you are working on what you are good at and you're speaking to your customer. So you document. So Wakili, that means lawyer for my international audience. Wakili, if you just deal with simple questions Kenyans ask, and you can put one up every week, you will have enough to do 365 in the year. It's documentation. And that's how it makes sense. If you go to some people's feeds, it sounds so curated, but there's some of us who think in such a structured format that we can turn everything we do every day into a piece of content. So if the word content scares you, let's put it aside. Let's say share something. I have a pattern I love called something you need to know today. Sometimes it is 10 seconds, sometimes it is 30 seconds, sometimes it is 1 minute. It is what has struck me today that somebody needs to know. So when you look at it like that, you have a lot that you can share. And you don't have to be sharing it on multiple platforms. Pick one and start there. Just need to monetize WhatsApp status, and he's really good at it. I used to post a lot of encouraging stuff on my WhatsApp status. So when I stopped, I began getting questions. Are you okay? Did something happen? Why did you stop? I'm like, no. And then I realized that my status was having impact. So, how do you know what to talk about? Go to the things that people will always ask you about, number one, or ask people in your community. If you needed an answer to something from me, what would you ask me? That will give you insight into where you can start. But please start. Start where you are. Onika, I hope that has helped you.
Hi. Yes, it has helped me. But I think what I also wanted to find out was how to monetize the channel side of WhatsApp.
Where you do your status, what are you posting that is valuable, that drives to people to a place they can make a purchase? The channel has to drive them to a purchase. It doesn't naturally monetize itself. The same way, even when you're using your status, you're driving them to a place to make a purchase. Because WhatsApp doesn't pay you. WhatsApp is not like YouTube that will pay you for views. How you monetize your WhatsApp. Let's say you're in the design sector, so maybe you're running an event, right? Or you're selling a product. So you direct people to where your product is being sold, or you direct them to the link where they can register and pay for the event, or they're in a WhatsApp group, you're giving them connections. And so let's say the way we have our quarterly events, we'll put on the WhatsApp channel. And then now when people come in, you can ask them, where did you hear about us from? And then you will come and you will say, maybe WhatsApp, I saw it on the channel. So it is by driving people to make a purchase.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me hand it to Mr. Mukoko, or we shall continue here for the rest of the day.